Yeah, it feels like it's important for Frances to come out and have a big start here today.
Well, after being 2 sets to love up and letting that slip all the way back to a 5th set, they would have a big emphasis on getting out and getting in that position of control again.
That backhand from Tiafoe has always been so incredibly steady. The forehand gets all of the attention, of course, but that backhand is just money.
Well, there's not a lot that can go wrong. It's a very simple swing, and it gets good depth on it with that simple backswing.
Body serve on that second as Tiafoe was looking for that very aggressive position. Marozsan, as you see the Tiafoe team, do see Franklin's there, Mom's there.
Physio Christian Lacazio has been around for a very long time.
That's perfect. Didn't need to call him old like that. I mean,
well, you know, he started young, but he's in great shape.
Started maybe when he was 4 or so.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Marty Fish was with him for a very long time, and Marty, you know, you have so many days on tour with the same team throughout the year. It's important to really get along with your team, and Christian's a really easygoing guy. Our former Davis Cup captain, Marty Fish, close friend of mine, he used to say Christian was the #1 most unannoying guy on tour. He said you could be around him every day and not get annoyed.
Where did you rank on that list?
I would say not on that side of the spectrum.
Yeah, well planned there from Marozsan. Good reaction, gets that opening hold, and we are off and running here at Kia Arena. Yeah, it's good to see Franklin here. Frances's brother started getting into the coaching realm a bit.
Well, Big Foe plays well with a team behind him, and when he feels like he has everybody there, physio, coach, Jordi Arcanata has been with him for a long time, close friend growing up, and it gives him a sense of comfort throughout all the different coaching changes that he's been through in his whole career. Jordi has always been a constant.
Quarterfinalist here in 2019. At that time was being coached by Robbie Ginepri, who's right now on the bag with Alex Mickelson, also in action right now. Frances Tiafoe serving here at love 1.
Length. Length presents.
It was a very long first service point here for Tiafoe. Couple leg cords, double fault as well. Did serve very well in that Rinderknecht match. Start here for Big Foe.
A little bit of a nervy start. You can see just trying to find the rhythm early on. Sometimes these stadiums have a little bit of a tricky wind, kind of figuring out where it's blowing, what it's doing to your toss, where the sun placement is.
Swirled quite a bit yesterday. so easy to replicate and comes up with the goods right there for 15-30.
That is a beautiful ball. The thing that makes that so hard is how low it stays over the net. He has a very compact takeback, but this stays so low over the net. If you watch the net clearance on this, only a couple of inches over the net, and that is just really tough to pick up off your shoelaces.
Going to be hunting a lot of forehands here today.
I love seeing how fast he gets around it. Quick step to the left here creates really good space, and that's the key component on the faux forehand. He gets a lot of power behind that forehand when he has good spacing.
And it's interesting thinking back to where he was 10 years ago, Ryan. You probably played him a couple times during that stretch where there was so much discussion of how to make that forehand a little bit more solid, because he was the one that was going to break down at times.
It was always the boom or bust shot
Yes.
for him, and the backhand being much more consistent.
Game.
Shaky start. Tiafoe does find the opening hold to get us to 1 game all.
And the thing that's always been a tricky thing for Tiafoe has been his footwork. He has great hands and has always had great hands, but at times he's fallen victim to a little bit of casual footwork, and that's what we talked about a second ago with the spacing being so important, not letting the ball get right up in on him. When I played him in the past, I always felt like going deep down the middle was a really good play because of that footwork.
Marozsan's not going to give you much in terms of expression. Not very many emotional highs, emotional lows. He's just going to be a very flat tempo emotionally. Really credits his poker face for some of those big wins against the big names.
Length, second service.
With that said, Ryan, poker face is one thing. Why so many wins against the top 10?
Well, he's a guy that has a lot of talent, and he also has the ability to do some things that the rest of the tour doesn't do. He has a great drop shot. He has a really, really good feel around the net. So some of these X factors that you don't see from a lot of the guys who are ranked around 50, he possesses.
Great depth on that return just inside the baseline.
30-15.
First few games always just kind of feeling each other out. That read on the serve so incredibly crucial. So a nice, comfortable and easy hold for Fabian Marozsan. He leads 2-1 early here at Cain Arena.
line with the chair. Time.
Cain Ryan Harrison joining you from inside Kia Arena as Tiafoe will be serving from behind in this opening set 1-2. Obviously the big run at the US Open last year. Struggled a little bit through the slams through the big chunk of the year. Second round here at Roland Garros, third round at Wimbledon. So an opportunity here to make a big run and really make some big jumps as well. Massive chunk of his points this coming year going to come obviously from being that runner-up in Cincinnati and then the US Open run as well. That's incredible depth.
I really did think the coaching change played a really big part in that. Even going back to last November, excuse me, the previous November, so looking at 14 months ago, that was something that initially I was a little scratching my head at. I thought that it was not the best hire.
This after a really good partnership with Wayne Ferreira for many years.
And mainly due to personalities. It's just the coach he was working with before, an extremely big disciplinarian, a guy who makes you work and hit a lot of balls. And it's not a knock on him. It's just more of the style thing, how you work with someone and what their personality type is.
And I think, frankly, Big Foe needed that when he started working with Wayne.
Left service.
Had kind of gotten away from that work ethic that you really need to be at the very, very top of the game. And I think Wayne instilled that, and then it just kind of ran its course.
That's right. And then Diego Moyano was the coach he'd worked with in the intermediate time there. And Diego's a guy who is an extreme disciplinarian. He's a workhorse.
Yeah.
He's out there. He's making sure that you are crossing every T, dotting every I. And it's a testament to his work ethic as a coach. And sometimes there's just not all the personalities that respond in the way that you would hope that they do.
Break chances here for the Hungarian.
30-14.
Well, that's a great response there, especially after a couple early double faults. He takes a little pace off of this one, so it wasn't the fastest of serves, but making sure he finds the first serve and, again, attacking that Marozsan forehand return is going to be really important on some of these pivotal points.
Oh for 4 right now on his second serves with 3 doubles. There. And yeah, that has been such a big part of Marozsan's success. In fact, in his opening win over Zabothvic, 59% in terms of the second serve return points. Another pretty just absolutely absurd stat from that matchup. And you never know if the stats are exactly correct from some of the outer courts, Ryan. 81 winners to 35 unforced errors.
That seems like a pretty favorable.
Seems like it might be a little bit aggressive.
It's a good one, too. And, yeah, to get to your point, I saw a match the other day where someone had 20 winners and 60 unforced errors. And I think a lot of that can be subjective, just depending on who is doing the statistics. I think that in order to get an accurate median on that, you would need the same sort of person who is making those calls.
I think we're going to give him the 81 winners, though. You don't pass that up.
You don't pass that up.
Now, once once again going after that forehand return, and another game point here for Tiafoe.
Well, Tiafoe doing a really good job there of varying his second serve speed. We saw 129 Ks on the previous one that drew the error on the break point, and that one at 177. That's a 50-kilometer difference in second serve speed. Good variance.
So survives first couple of break chances, 2 all in the opener.
2 games over.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at the deuce side serve so far, Ryan. For Tiafoe going T on the first serve almost exclusively, 75% so far, but those seconds, it's all body or forehand.
And he used that one wide serve on the break point down.
Exactly right. Can be contagious sometimes.
Yeah, both guys just a little sloppy early on.
Yep.
A couple mistakes, a couple missed second serve returns on some big points. Guys just kind of feeling their way in the match. Obviously a lot of pressure on the second round match.
Last year, his best ever Grand Slam win was here, Marozsan, over then number 21, Francisco Cerundolo. Second round before falling to Taylor Fritz. Yeah, as much as we've talked about that idea of 6-6 against top 10, 19-9 at the Masters Series, Slam's still a work in progress for him over 5 sets.
And also struggles to back up those big wins. I don't think he's made the semifinals or better of any tour event despite that wonderful record against the top 10 in Masters Series.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
just enough.
What a backspin. Tiafoe is very, very quick and very reactive getting forward. So this volley had to be perfect. And I love the way that he cuts this next volley here to actually turn the ball back toward him, running away from Tiafoe.
Can you pick this up?
Unable to pick it up.
Next point. It's okay.
Backs it up with his first ace of the day.
And not an overpowering serve by speed, but really good at hitting his spots. He's got some height to him. He's got a really good toss where he gets up to that trophy position in a really nice, fluid manner.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, though. It just feels like it's a little bit sluggish here at the start. That's the 8th unforced error for Marozsan already. Game number 5. Oh, he's caught the outside of the line.
That was beautiful. Not a bad approach shot at all, but Frances Tiafoe anticipating where that ball was going to go and getting over there in time, holding the racket steady, waiting for Marozsan to pick a side and just beautifully flips the wrist by him. Had a little nice move there at the end, too.
Oh, how good of a second is that? Tiafoe guessing with that kicker out wide, gets burned with the slider up the tee. Back to deuce we go. Away once again. It's going to be break chance number 2 for Tiafoe.
Well, Frances does a really good job of fighting off this deep backhand cross court. That is the Marozsan best shot, most consistent shot, and he was able to manage that, get into the forehand side, and draw the mistake.
It's especially difficult because it's so flat as well. Just stays very low. Impressive from Tiafoe. But it is Frances Tiafoe fighting off break chances and then grabbing one of his own. 3-2 with the break midway through the first.
And 2 white towels. Show me how to.
Yeah.
So Frances is asking just for some extra, I believe an ice bag, which will be in a cooler right underneath him. It's a bit interesting to hear him asking for that. A, because it's the coolest day we've had, and B, because of the issue that he had on court a couple days ago.
Very much so, and for these guys who are looking to make deep runs in the tournament, I think a big stat that they look at is time on court, and that's something that all the coaches will be paying attention to.
So he is going to be shown right now. Here's where the ice bag is. It's right there. So everything is taken care of now for Frances. He's got his ice bag. He's ready to go. Frances Tiafoe, yeah, trying to make sure he stays cool. Doesn't love that particular towel. It's nice towel-esque in addition for him.
Well, I think that the ice towel, you actually envision ice being in the towel, and you want to get that feeling of that sort of girth behind it. You get a cold towel, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? Just like pamper myself? Should I get a little bit of makeup on this, or what should I do with this?
He's so used to being in first class. They come bring you a nice towel. You can just wipe your face.
This isn't a photo shoot. This is live action.
No, we don't need to talk about the photo shoots. Vogue cover boy, 3-2. Called the most stylish man in tennis, Ryan. Your thoughts?
I would second that. He has a lot of kicks that I myself could have never in a million years pulled off, and he seems to make them all work.
You're going to go with that over Berrettini?
Ooh, that's tough. Both guys have some flair.
Jannik Sinner?
I'm going to go with Berrettini and Foe over Sinner when it comes to the flair.
It's a bit interesting to see all the modeling contracts that are starting to pop up. I mentioned those. We've got Draper as well. Taylor Fritz walking the runway as well. Struggling to figure out how to respond to that, right? it's changed a little bit.
It has changed a bit. You know, I think back to the days when I was in my younger days of my career, and these guys are definitely becoming more icons. Social media, TikTok. The one thing I'm happy about is I never had to do a TikTok dance, because that's not something that anybody would have wanted to see.
Ryan, there's still time. Oh, that's pretty good. There's that forehand return, but it is clean as a whistle right there for 15-30.
Yeah, speaking of time, how about this timing here on this forehand return from Marozsan? Gets it out in front, quickly gets it back on Tiafoe, and he's trying to answer that break that Tiafoe was able to secure last game.
couple of chances. Will Marozsan 0 for 2 so far.
15-14.
Well, you just want to see Frances get that first serve percentage up a bit. He was at 50% going into this game, only 1 for 4 in this game, and starting to have that accumulation of pressure draw some mistakes.
Once again, it is Marozsan getting into that return, and this time able to grab the break. 3-all now.
Well, again, it was making the first serve mistake that gets Marozsan in the point, and he does not disappoint. Great depth on this return. That's what set this whole point up. And then again, going behind Tiafoe. We've seen him go behind Tiafoe a few times. Tiafoe has a tendency to take off to the open court at times whenever he's playing defense. So I think going behind him would have been a strategy that was discussed in the pre-match.
But as you mentioned, Ryan, 43% now serve percentage for Tiafoe, 9 of 21, and just getting beat up on those second serves as Marozsan serves the 3-all. That looks much more like my backhand.
I don't want to see that, Mike.
No, you don't. This is where you kind of see, right? Marozsan just again giving you that exact same energy level throughout. Frances can go through these little dips. Very rushed with that swing from Tiafoe. Marozsan gained points. Yates to shut it down. Quick hold to love for Marozsan. Back out in front at 4-3.
Well, one of the things that I look for on the Frances Tiafoe game is his first serve percentage. His first serve to his second serve is a really big discrepancy. He always does extremely well on first serve points 1. He always does a really good job at answering breakpoint opportunities with made first serves. He seems to be very clutch and timely with it, and that's been a key component to him bailing himself out of it holes at times. But we just saw a couple too many second serves creep into some big moments, and that was the sort of break that eventually got too much to overcome.
Yeah, last year 74% winning percentage on that first, was at 52% on the second. It's about a 22% gap. And that can be just one of those destructive things if those second serves are just becoming more and more. And you've seen already 12 of them here today.
That's right. And that's a hard number to overcome. 43% is not sustainable. That will need to go way up to get a win here.
Well, a new racket out of the bag here for Frances Tiafoe. Let's see if maybe a different string tension will bring along some first serves. It's been a real concern for him here. Half an hour into this matchup. The American now from the near side to serve at 3-4 with the new balls in his pocket.
If you're in the Tiafoe coaching camp, you're telling him big targets. Whenever you're struggling with the percentage on anything, you don't keep trying to paint the lines. I think that I imagine like a basketball player trying to get to the free throw line, get to make a couple layups, just see the ball go through the hoop. You want to see yourself make a couple, even if it's a big target.
Basketball reference, of course, very important for Frances Tiafoe. friends with almost the entire NBA. His shot could use some work, though.
I'm going to say that I'm going to stick away from his shot. We can talk about this shot, his touch. That's the dynamic side of Tiafoe that has everybody wondering, not if, but when is he going to make that first major final.
It's been close, obviously, a couple times, including last year at the U.S. Open. What has to be that next step for him?
Well, I think that we saw he talked about just a little bit of physical fatigue at the end of that match, and that could be a matter of managing his emotions. I do believe he's fit enough, and he's a fit guy. Sometimes the energy level that you exert throughout the match can play a part. You got to learn when to involve the crowd, when to conserve your energy, and he was openly talking about running a bit out of gas in the 5th set there at the end of that match with Taylor Fritz in the semifinals of the U.S. Open.
Tiafoe does get his first easy hold of the day, gets us to 4 games all. Also the physicality of the matches leading up to that. Shelton, Popperin, even the match against Dimitrov when Dimitrov retired, a lot of the physicality, extended matches, 4th sets, 5th sets, that takes a toll as well, and that has been one of the biggest concerns for him over the last 10, 12 years.
Absolutely, and that's why it looms large in this first round here of the Australian Open, being 2 sets to love up and having to suffer through getting sick through a 5-set win. It takes a toll. It takes a toll in these matches where you find yourself then building confidence later on and obviously trying to win a match against a player of Taylor Fritz's caliber to make a U.S. Open final. You need all of your energy in reserve.
Well done. 5 of his 6 matches during that fortnight in New York were 3 hours plus, including a 4-hour battle as well.
Yeah, as we look at this transition, key part here, getting this volley above the level of the net, not letting it drop to your toes where that volley gets a lot more difficult. So well done moving in right off the contact. But yeah, Mike, to get back to your point, if you look at some of these matches, they just are matches that you would see a top player, and by top, obviously Frances Tiafoe is absolutely a top player, but I'm referring to your Carlos Alcaraz, your Jannik Sinners, your Zverevs, and even Taylor Fritz now. They close and front run when they have a chance to close the door.
Is that something that can be learned?
I think it is something that can be learned. I think it's understanding emotions, understanding the natural tendency at the end of sets that you win. You feel this reprieve, this sense of accomplishment, and you can't let yourself go there while still in the heat of the battle.
So Marozsan puts another one on that scoreboard in very short fashion. 5-4 deep in the first. I mentioned Taylor Fritz just a moment ago. Only lost 3 games earlier today against Christian Garin. Tommy Paul, another one of Frances's compatriots, of course. Very impressive win over Cain last night.
I thought that was really important for Tommy to get through in 4 sets. Cain 5-set record is nothing that you want to go head-to-head with, especially here at the Australian Open.
Yeah, no doubt, and especially considering Tommy a couple days ago dealing with a bit of shoulder discomfort. Good to see him healthy and able to get through that one in short order.
I'm gonna call time now.
Time.
Well, here at Kia Arena, Fabian Marozsan has started to sort out his serve, has gotten it just to under 60% now. A couple of easy holds for him in the last two. Frances Tiafoe, the one dealing with a tad bit of scoreboard pressure late in the first, coming out here at 4-5. Certainly made things complex for himself. A couple of last words with his team as well. Nine unforced errors along with 5 winners, Ryan.
Not a good unforced error to winner ratio so far, and the first serve percentage still a bit low. He's going to need to find some first serves, or else he could get in trouble here trying to serve to stay in this first set.
And it just keeps getting worse with his serve percentage, and immediately Tiafoe's on that back heel, and Marozsan taking advantage.
And the second serve actually getting slower and slower as well, down to 120 Ks on that last second serve, and that's not a serve that's going to draw too many mistakes from a guy who's as accomplished returner as Marozsan, as we see already winning 54%, which is well over half second serve points. Big chance.
That is a huge break for Tiafoe. 0 for 3 on his serves here. Desperate need. Finds his second of the day.
Just wonder if we're going to have to go back and circle that love 30 point with that routine backhand mistake here from Marozsan.
Swing and a miss. That is a tough place to return from right now, Ryan, with that sun shake combination.
Well, as the ball moves through the lit part of the court into the shadow, there can be a little bit of an adjustment with your eyesight trying to pick it up. At times it can be tricky.
He gets away, so 4 straight points for Tiafoe to get us to 5-all, and I think you're exactly right, Ryan. That love 30 miss, a huge one for Marozsan.
Well, that would have felt like not just a small weight off the back, but a huge weight off the back for Frances Tiafoe. And as we talked about earlier in the match, he's very timely with the first serves, even at times when his first serve percentage is struggling. To be there at 15-30 and back it up with 2 aces, much needed. And now he finds himself 5-all, pressure all the way back on Marozsan.
Couldn't quite get around it. That has always been one of the questions. When he does get around and has time on that forehand, potent. If not, you get that. Remember when I was calling his match last year, I just kept thinking Marozsan's just going to be very much a clay court player, but I think his ability to take things on the rise, Ryan, has really surprised me.
He does a good job of getting up in the court when the ball drops short.
Backhand leaking. 10 unforced errors on that wing now for Marozsan.
That's a bit unusual because that is usually his rock solid shot, and most of these mistakes are finding the net.
I think that's the right play to go one-way traffic at that stage, right?
Well, if you're in the Frances Tiafoe camp and you're starting to recognize one side that's faltering more often than not, you got to just stay on it. It's almost like you just don't overthink it. You keep putting pressure on that side, and 5-all, 30-all here, Frances Tiafoe is going to need to see if he can make him earn this point.
Tough time for a mishit.
40-30.
Right play, though, right target. Marozsan with a game point. The Marozsan box much quieter. Finds the backhand there. So both guys surviving some tough tests. Marozsan 6-5 in the first.
Marozsan leads 6 games to 5.
Well, as always, Key Arena, one of those courts that really brings the fans up close and personal. Lululemon getting in on the action. This one's going to be followed by Destiny Aeva and Danielle Collins. You know anything about that match at all, or?
I do know Danielle well. I worked with her all last year.
Tiafoe here, 5-6, and most importantly, finding first serve.
15 love. Left for service.
One thing I'll keep paying attention to throughout this match is how much Marozsan elects to use that slice backhand to change up the speed, particularly towards the Frances Tiafoe backhand wing. Frances does one of the best in the world at absorbing and redirecting pace on the backhand side. Sometimes you have to use the variety.
Two in the last one here. Total
There's the big
4 now.
serve. There's the big faux serve. Starting to find that range, raising the first serve percentage up to 50% now, and back in the plus column with the winner, with the aces on a double faults ratio.
It's pretty remarkable, this consistent depth on the return from Marozsan, who creeps to within 2 points here of this set.
30.
time for a freebie there. Tiafoe obviously with that serve percentage getting better, also starting to get a few more free points mixed in there as well. Point for the breaker. Gets just that. 6-all, tie break to decide what's been a bit of a sluggish first set.
6 games on. Tiebreak.
Flag has been out today, already getting Ben Shelton through on this court. Sticking around for Big Foe as well.
Thank you. Ready to play.
Oh my, what a miss. Gift for Frances Tiafoe for 1-0.
1-0.
Well, you might wonder how a player of this caliber in the world can make a mistake like that. And it's all due to the fact that he knows how quick and reactive Frances Tiafoe is. So that extra pressure, feeling like you have to make the volley just a little bit more fine, is what draws the mistake.
No mistakes there.
Frances Tiafoe with the much notarized hands coming in, really showing off his ability to move forward. And what a drop volley. Incredible feel.
Off the outside of the line. And yeah, more and more free points popping in right now for 3-0.
He has found that first serve just in the nick of time.
Has upped it about 10% over the last 7 or 8 points. Oh my, 2 missed volleys from Marozsan. And Tiafoe on a roll, 4-0.
4-0. Tiafoe.
Had to get on the scoreboard, does just that, but a long way to go here with the 2 mini break edge.
Well, you can just see that pep in the step for Frances Tiafoe. The chest looks out a bit more, the head looks up, the confident walk is starting to come about. You just get the sense that he is feeling closing time for this first set.
Ryan, that broke a stretch of consecutive first serves before Tiafoe. He'd had that big opportunity to get out to a front lead there with those first serves, but drops off and Marozsan takes advantage.
Yeah, from 4-5, love 30, all the way through that point. He made every single first serve, was rising his first serve percentage from low 40s all the way up to almost 60% there prior to that first serve. And he's going to need to find one here. As we've talked about, Marozsan's second serve return, so dangerous. You noted earlier in the match, in his first round match, he won close to 60% of points on his second serve return. So Frances really needs to find a first serve here.
Yeah, that's exactly where he is right now. 61% winning percentage on second serve returns for Marozsan. So one more for Big Foe from the far side here at 4-2. So you think now there's 2 big misses here for Marozsan.
5-2.
Well, a player of this caliber like Frances Tiafoe, you just can't give them so many chances in a tiebreaker. Yeah, just too many mistakes here.
It's on that backhand wing too. 11 of them. 11 of the 19 unforced errors have come off that wing, which you correctly pointed out. That's the solid side.
It is really unusual that he is struggling, and he's also making all the mistakes in the net.
Pulled that one wide on the first set point, but he'll have 2 now on his serve at 6-3.
Well, that's the most annoyed you will ever see Marozsan get, taking almost no time in between points there, showing the frustration, and very unusual for him to speed up that way, especially in a tiebreaker. Here we go, first set on the Frances Tiafoe racket. Gonna go high percentage here.
Frances Tiafoe not his cleanest, but he gets it done, winning with the B game. 7-3 in the breaker, 1 set to the good for the American here at Kia Arena.
Well, Frances, this is a big time for you to capitalize on some of that disappointment from Marozsan. Early on in sets, particularly ones that go to tiebreakers, you can really capitalize on that next couple service games.
A little bit tighter than would have liked with a wide open court, but you're exactly right, and this is an issue that Frances has had throughout his career, just this little dip himself, right? So he's got to be the one staying emotionally consistent here.
Well, that's where someone like David Witt, understanding the sort of energy level it takes for a personality like Frances. You're not trying to tame a guy like that. You're not trying to take his identity away. What you want to do is you want to harness that energy, that natural competitive energy that he has, to engage the crowd and teach him when to use it.
He also just hasn't had to engage the crowd yet. I mean, it felt like it was a very flat emotional set overall. The first, he hasn't needed to rise necessarily, and the quality hasn't been there to get the crowd involved. Same error for Marozsan, that backhand into the net.
I love that response there from Tiafoe, despite it being what looks on the naked eye like a relatively routine hold. That little pump up, that little come on just shows that he is sensing the energy, and that is the emotional maturity of working with a guy like David Witt, who understands how to teach someone like Frances who to be, how to be out there, and when to energize himself.
Yeah, the one thing he said, it's just that idea of staying in the present. That was something that Frances said in a recent article, just how much it's important for David to be present there and then transfer that to Frances as well.
And that is exactly what happens when he understands how to pick himself up. Best return of the day coming right after his best positive response. And I absolutely love to see that control of emotion.
So now it's a little bit here, despite the poker face of Marozsan, he's got to raise his level to match.
A bit weird. That sounded like it was a let. It looked like Marozsan thought it was a let as well. Kind of a little bit of a lull to start that point. Sometimes these net devices are censored at different sorts of reactive.
That's another really powerful return out of Frances Tiafoe, providing a test here in Marozsan's opener.
Well, early stages second set. This is a massive point. Frances Tiafoe with a little opportunity here to take firm control of this match.
For service.
Okay, so somebody right behind Marozsan, it appears, was maybe bouncing a ball. Tiafoe apologetic about that interruption. Restart here at 30 all. Perfectly played.
Just a bit too passive on that return. You got a good opportunity on a second serve return. I get that you don't want to make the mistake there, but leaving it well short in the court and having to run and play defense, Marozsan does well to execute on the pressure moment.
Deuce now.
Use.
Majority of the second serves have been going wide or forehand body. Looks like Tiafoe wanted that on his backhand almost.
Well, he got a little stuck there, not knowing which way to lean, electing to lean on the backhand side, and that just takes him a little too far out of position all the way over the alley.
That's a big hold for Marozsan to match Tiafoe. Gets us to 1-all.
Little missed opportunity there. 30 all and deuce, both second serve chances. Doing a great job in net conversion today at 82% for the match and winning both conversions so far here in the early stages of the second set.
Yeah, the hands have always been underrated. Tested throughout that first set, two really easy holds for Tiafoe to start the second. Ball change coming. It's 2-1.
Well, that is the most animated you will see Marozsan ever at any point in a match. Frances Tiafoe doing exactly what you should be doing when you have a near break chance and just taking care of business, quick and efficient, comfortable hold, and the pressure squarely right back on the racket of Marozsan here. You just get the feeling that Frances is looking for that one moment to break this thing wide open.
Well, with as much as, we had to talk about what happened in the fourth and then the fifth set for Tiafoe, I think there is very clearly an emphasis on making sure you are efficient here today.
Time.
Looks like a racket's going to be restrung here for Tiafoe. Tension's fine, he says. Some same tension there.
Just pass it on here.
You see, it's the coldest day we've experienced in this week, and as well last week in qualifying, so adjustments had to be made. Definitely saw it last night with the rain that did come through, bringing in this colder weather. Fault here for Marozsan, second of the day, and some of the work that Tiafoe's doing on the second serve returns paying off in a moment like that.
Well, just forcing Marozsan to go after a bit more, and with the new balls being a little bit more lively than the old balls, there's a little too much pop.
Backs it up though. Really good slider tee.
Same tension. Yeah. Thank you.
30-15.
Kind of change of pattern there from Marozsan to take the forehand line. After starting with the double, really important there for Marozsan to just kind of settle in, get through that pretty quickly as well. 2 games all here in the second.
Pretty quick match for a 7-6-2 all, just over an hour. A lot of times you can see these matches well over an hour in the midst of a tiebreaker first set. Guys not wasting any time in between points.
Top of the average point length, just a shade over 3, with the tour average a little over 4.
Well, one of the words that I would associate with Frances Tiafoe is unpredictable. And that has been a little bit of the story on so far today here.
That will trickle over. In real trouble now as Tiafoe goes to love 30. Unforced errors on the backhand wing just has disappeared, and Marozsan 3 break chances.
Well, he did so well to get that return back with so much depth, especially from the full stretch, and just able to make that one extra ball to make Frances hit the backhand, which now we're seeing the Frances Tiafoe backhand falter a bit.
15-14.
Just sail wide. I don't know that we've seen anywhere close to top level for either player right now, Ryan.
No, we haven't. Both guys doing a good job of holding their nerve.
Yes.
Despite what we've seen early on, neither player has been able to secure a break yet.
Takes him 3 tries, but Marozsan finds the finish and finds a break lead. It's 3-2. We're midway through the second.
Marozsan leads 3-2. Time.
Well, that inconsistency plaguing Frances Tiafoe at times through his career. Finds himself down a break here in this second set. 3-2 Marozsan. Now would be the time for Frances to get the crowd engaged a tad bit.
15 love.
Two free points there, Marozsan. Yeah, 6 of them here in this set. I think you and I are going to just kind of circle that opening service game where he was able to get out of that 30-all test.
Well, 30 all and deuce, right?
Yeah, right.
2 second serve opportunities, and both opportunities were not really taken onto his own racket. He really played a little bit more passive than we're used to seeing, and it was Marozsan who stepped up and answered the call.
That's, what, 48 seconds?
And it is a very efficient hole. 52 seconds there for that service game, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered when you're looking to consolidate a break.
So the lone person in the box for Marozsan is Coach Roman Hajdicic. That backhand finds the line. I go back to this last service game from Marozsan as well. Tiafoe's below the tour average in the break back percentage, and you saw it there, right? And now Marozsan, with a head of steam, has the opportunity to get greedy now.
Well, we don't need to talk about the talent of Frances Tiafoe. It's
right.
Always been spoken of. His assets and the things he can do are much, much publicized. But it's little things like that that you pay attention to. Top players typically have a higher than normal break back percentage because that focus level, that intensity, that hyper focus that they find. And Tiafoe just has a tendency to get a little bit dejected, a little bit negative when he gets that break going in the other way.
Yeah, sometimes those shoulders, you just see them get slumped, and then there's about 5 to 10 minutes where he's not at that or anywhere close to that peak level, and the players all know it at this stage.
Well, every time you go watch a match, it should be, and usually is, apparent who's the driver and who's the passenger. You have two players out there, and if you look at the way that the match is unfolding, if you don't even watch the point, if you just look at their bodies, you can see who is the emotional leader of the match.
That's a good bounce back. You heard there from Frances after summoning his strength, finding a hold here. The damage has been done, 4-3.
And to further that point, Frances does a good job when he is the driver, when he is in the lead emotionally, when he is implementing his sort of personality, charisma, and character. It's just those moments where he takes a little bit of time off and lets the other guy drive that you don't quite see out of the other top players. If you go watch a Roger Federer match, a Rafael Nadal match, a Novak Djokovic match against the tour average, for the entirety of that match, even if they happen to lose a couple games, you can see that they're still the leader out there. They're still the leader on the court. As we take a look here at Melbourne Park, beautiful day out there, a little cloud cover, but nothing that's being a problem. Obviously, all these wonderful stadiums put together. We're over here on Kia Arena right there next to, what is that? Is that Margaret Court Arena?
Yeah, that's 1573 though.
1570. Oh, I'm sorry. I got
we're on the back side.
On the other side, Mike. I appreciate you correcting me.
This is us with our geography here. We all get, we're on the other side of the world. We get all turned around.
I played tennis. I wasn't a geography major, so I appreciate you telling. Maybe if my geography was a little bit more dialed in, I would have had a better control of my shots. I always miscalibrating the wind and whatever else we had going on.
The wind goes the opposite way here, right?
That's the way it works, Southern Hemisphere.
A little hesitant to move forward there, Tiafoe, and Marozsan again taking advantage.
15-love.
Needs to move forward a little bit more. Certainly has that capability, doesn't he?
Well, that's exactly the game style I want to see Frances Tiafoe playing. He's at 75% today on net point conversions when he makes his way in, but he's only gotten in 7 times in this set. He's had plenty of opportunities. I'd love to see him continue to go in more than once a game.
Marozsan is up to the serve percentage here in this second set. It's around 54 in the first, 65 right now in this second set. There, plenty of time. Did Tiafoe.
40-15.
Nowhere close into the tram lines. Game points here for Marozsan.
We take a look, 92% first serve points won, 91% for Tiafoe. Both guys doing incredibly well behind the first serve in this second set.
Game, Madison.
5-3, game away from splits here. Yeah, Both guys losing just that 1 point on first serve, Ryan, but just a little bit more in terms of that serve percentage. That seems to be the one difference here.
That's exactly right, and it was more of the one game that we saw Frances Tiafoe. He's been really efficient on serve throughout this whole set. Comfortable, quick holes, except for the one game where we saw him falter.
So we're going to stay in this second set, 3-5. Backhand is always the flatter shot for Marozsan. How does he get more shape here?
Well, from a technical side, it's very sound. When it looks at the backswing, the take back, at times he just gets a little bit too close to the ball, and that's why you don't see the ball shape as much as it can whenever he has good spacing, whenever he lets the ball come up into the strike zone. At times he just crowds it a little bit, and that's what you're seeing here today when he's catching the top of the tape quite a lot.
Going to bring that in. Tiafoe has game points. Second of the set for him. Those three nearly costing him in the first. Now that's why that aggressive second serve miss could come back to haunt him. Saw it happen to Ben Shelton in the match previous here on Kia Arena. Got broken from 40 love after going for that aggressive second serve. But it won't happen here. Shut down with an ace. Tiafoe does force the issue. Marozsan will serve for the center moment.
Marozsan leads 5-4.
Yeah, I'm typically not a fan of the two first serve guy unless you're a guy like Kyrgios, who seems to pull it off more often than not. If you're not in the habit of making that something that's a part of your success story, then I wouldn't recommend pulling it out too often in matches. But at times, you know, you just try and see if whatever's in your head, I want to find that range in the first serve. I've got a couple points lead.
Yeah, Pesci Pericard is really changing it completely.
Well, that's part of his game.
Yep.
That's, you know, that's who he is all the time. And so I don't mind it. If it's part of your identity, if it's the way that you are successful and you're committed to it all the time, then go on, do it whenever you need to. But if it's not a part of your usual identity, I don't necessarily love rolling the dice on the biggest stage.
Time.
Well, the big Foe fans haven't had a lot to cheer about here over the last half an hour. There's always some singing inside Kia Arena. Fabian Marozsan has been pretty clean over the last few service games, looking to shut things down. Serving 60% here in the set, here at 5-4. Ryan, half of the points on his serve here in this set have not been returned. 11 of 22.
hello. There he is, getting the crowd behind him, looking up to his corner. Frances not wanting to go away easily on the dead run, little flick of the wrist.
And it compounds itself with the forehand error, so here comes Big Foe at 15:30.
Well, it's amazing what that accumulation of energy can bring out, and just getting Marozsan to blink a bit on that first ball. And as you know, making the last 2 returns, no free points. Big moment here.
Oh, he's got it! Pure stuff from Tiafoe to grab 2 break chances.
15-14.
Just when you think he is down and out, he is not. Little flick of the wrist.
Oh, well done. Great time for it. Frances 1 of 3 now on his break chances. Oh, it's phenomenally good.
Well, that's the composure that we talk about from this giant killer Marozsan. As soon as you sense all the momentum on the side of Tiafoe, he just gathers himself and back-to-back unreturnables.
And looks like it's nothing. Poker face indeed. Deuce.
Advantage.
Phenomenally good. Set point Marozsan.
Please.
He blinks. He is human in the big points. Deuce now.
Well, very interesting that after 3 unreturnables, he elected to go with the body serve. You saw him have to back off after we had the passionate fan. I wonder if that maybe slightly changed his mind and made him go for a bigger percentage of the body serve.
Touch.
That is beautifully well done. I cannot tell you how difficult that volley is, to take the pace off the ball on the full stretch, to completely take all the pace off the ball, add all that spin. You can see it cutting all the way outside of the doubles alley, and he understands how big of a moment that was.
Tiafoe guesses right. We play on to deuce.
I am so surprised he took that first overhead out of the air. That ball was coming straight down, really tough to time.
Thank you.
And Tiafoe just making him play the 1 extra ball.
So quick to the line as well, Ryan. In a moment where he could have used a couple of extra seconds. And throws in the double.
You just wonder if that's going to be the moment. Is that going to be the one moment that Frances Tiafoe needed to turn this set around?
We'll get a third look.
You've got to take away the tee serve. He's been going there every time he needed a big point.
good composure there from Marozsan, considering the last few moments to really go after it there. Well played.
Very well executed on the low volley, just asking the question. You got to make your opponent hit that passing shot. He was in no position to try and hit the drop volley winner.
Whoa, my. Absolute dart thrown by Marozsan to grab a third set point.
Advantage, Marozsan.
Well, grab a magic 8 ball, then show me what you're going to get, because it is so unpredictable out here. Hard to say what is going to happen next. Asking for the crowd to get up. He loves it. They love it. One set all here on Kia Arena.
Fighting off the break chances in the process. Best of 5 to best of 3.
Cool as the other side of the pillow, to quote the late, great Stuart Scott. Marozsan absolutely tough as nails through that last service game. It looked like Tiafoe was going to get the opportunity to break back, and just holding his nerve, executing the biggest shots at the biggest moment. What a guy.
Tell you what, Ryan, I'm just incredibly impressed with how he just handled himself on those break chances, right? I mean, just the willingness to continue to go forward, especially after such a massive miss on that high forehand volley. Just didn't look like it bothered him in the least.
Absolutely. As we take a look at the numbers here, both guys did incredibly well behind their first serve and a little bit low on the first serve percentage, but Marozsan much better on the winners to unforced errors count. 15 winners to 11 unforced errors compared to just 6 and 5 on the other side of the net. It just shows that Marozsan was much more of the aggressor in that set. Definitely willing to take it on a bit more, and Forcher did favor the bold.
On top of it, I feel like we just saw in the last 15 minutes, it felt like a pretty dramatic level rise as well.
Well, both guys played their best tennis there in the last game. I mean, that was the best game of the match by far. As we take a look at some of the highlights here, Marozsan in transition, fighting off, and that was the break point that he secured all the way through, and we saw him finding the range a bit more on that backhand.
Getting a little clunky with some of those net points won. That's why that big one, break point down, was so huge. 13 of 23 right now on total net points for Marozsan, but he's going to continue to go after it, and that's the important part. Try to dictate, force the issue on Tiafoe, who and that fuchsia highlight there right next to the bench, you're not going to miss it. Tiafoe is going to miss the opening forehand here for love 15. Oh, thin margin there.
15-all.
Just a little bit too fine with the flick shot. Would have liked to see him just try and pop that thing up the line. It looked to be open after Marozsan was on the backhand side of the court, but trying to go behind him there, just a little bit too difficult.
Let's talk about what we talked about on the opposite side at the beginning of the second set, right? Frances is capable of little dips in emotion, and Marozsan poised to take advantage of it. Marozsan thought that was long. You could see it from his reaction.
It's hard to argue with the computer.
We'll do it anyways.
I probably would have.
I know you would have.
Thanks, Mike.
I watched a few of your matches, Ryan.
We don't go there.
How good is that? Break chance, Marozsan.
Well, Frances had been saving that wide serve for some opportune time, as you said, largely going after the T serve, that backhand side in the deuce court, but going wide a lot on those pressure moments, and Marozsan was just sitting on that one.
Interesting to see Marozsan back off that return a bit.
Yeah, really interesting for a guy who really likes to take it head on, especially having such a pure backhand return. It was a little bit strange to see him back up as soon as the toss went up. Not really his game style. You want to stick to your guns on these big, important points.
That's the first time that he's taken a second serve to the backhand on that deuce side. First time in the match.
Yeah, but that's the way you like to see Marozsan returning, you know, instantly making the adjustment. Obviously, that was something he tried to get a little creative with, but really recognizing who he wants to be out there and implementing it almost instantly.
Oh, he's got it. Back-to-back return winners from Fabian Marozsan. Snags this early break, 1-love.
First game, third set.
Well, again, it was the Frances Tiafoe first serve percentage. Only 3 of 8 in that game, missing the last 3 there. And it was just Marozsan, again, electing to back up there. Interesting, but taking this one on more so and going straight down the line. Love the body weight transfer, and he knows how important that moment was. Break in hand.
Yeah, and Tiafoe, again, just this little dip, this emotional dip from him. It has happened multiple times here already in this match, and really it feels like for the first time, this match a little bit out of his control. Marozsan from the far side at 1-love.
Thank you. Ready for play.
Backhand feels a bit cleaned up as well.
15-love.
I'm going to put my coach's hat on for Frances Tiafoe for a second and look at some of these adjustments that have happened in the match. A lot of these points, he struggled to get depth on the backhand side. When Marozsan was making all those backhand mistakes, it was when the ball was deep through the court.
Left.
And you saw him unwilling to give ground. That was what was causing the mistake after mistake after mistake in the first set. He was not backing up to give the ground on that backhand, and Tiafoe's ball landing a bit shorter is what is now now seeing you get on the front foot for Marozsan.
Good love.
Yeah, that's kind of that miss that you're talking about.
Absolutely. He doesn't back up. He likes to take everything early, and there's times when that just doesn't always necessarily have to be the case. Even for a guy who likes to play aggressive tennis, you still have to respect deep shots.
That's another example of it, that ball on the rise. He does it at a higher percentage than tour level, but sometimes it will get away.
It's a high risk, high reward game. And sometimes the numbers do back up those things you're talking about. Him being the giant killer, but also struggling to maintain that level throughout some of these matches, or in these matches where he's quote unquote supposed to win.
Yep. Back-to-back aces, back-to-back return winners. He's got just about everything in the toolbox. Marozsan backs it up to love here in this third set.
Well, that's the thing that you like to see when you're talking about the potential for Marozsan. He serves well, he returns well, he moves well, he has good hands, he volleys pretty well. So you look at everything, you go, okay, how do these tools come together to give you a top 20 player? Not just someone who can beat a top 20 player, but how can you be a top 20 player?
Just 25 years of age, so still several years here left in this quote-unquote peak athletic shape for him as well. Those are the Hungarian fans supporting their man here at Cain Arena.
Would you say that for a guy like this who's come on later in his career, that he's only going to get more physically strong, or do you think he's as physically developed as he's going to be right now?
Yeah, in theory, he's got another few years where he can really develop.
Right, he can get a little bit more physique behind him.
I agree. And that's the thing is, you know, he is maybe not the strongest guy in the legs necessarily. And I just kind of question how he matches up in a fifth set against one of the top 20 guys. That said, he is 3-0 in 5 setters. The wins, though, over Gasquet, Medjedovic, and Zaibot-Vilch. It's just been a matter of can he do it against one of the bigger names.
There's definitely a different level of physicality against those top guys. I had the unfortunate or fortunate, whichever way you want to look at it, timing of having to play against those all-time greats in the majors, 2010, 2011, 2012, when they were all in their prime, 2013. So I got to play against all the major winners, Rafael Nadal, Djokovic, Federer, and Murray at the highest stages. And I can tell you firsthand, it is a different physical experience out there.
Again from Marozsan. And you know, I heard the guys from the Nothing Major pod, Jack and Sam, and they were all just talking about that exact same thing, right? You're just, even when you are playing at your peak level, knowing that you would have to get through one, and then there's still another one waiting, it's just the physical toll that it takes on your body.
Well, I think we all have those things we would like to do a bit differently. And if I could go back, I was a court rat. I was obsessed with hitting forehands and backhands and returns and serves. If I had to go back and do it again, I would have taken a large part of that younger section of my career and tried to make myself a physical specimen by doing more gym work, more stuff off the court.
Frances Tiafoe does get on the scoreboard, but once again, a little bit of a let-off on the gas to start this set. Down a break. Fabian Marozsan, 2-1.
leads 2-1.
Mike Cation, Ryan Harrison join you inside Key Arena for this one. Fabian Marozsan holding up really well. Guy who has a lot of top 10 wins in his career. A total of 9 top 20 wins, 6 in the top 10. Looking for another big scalp here today. 2-1 in the third.
Well, Tiafoe on a major stage, even though it quote-unquote isn't a top 10 win, it feels like a top 10 win. You know what he can do. He's produced his best tennis at the majors, particularly on the hard courts.
Big opening here for Big Foe. First time here in the set.
Still doing well on the second serve in this set on Marozsan, so he needs to continue to make those second serve returns.
2 backhand errors out of Marozsan, and yeah, it feels like when that backhand is clicking, everything's great, but it's just been so up and down for him here today. Smart.
Well, he did a much better job, as we've spoken about, that backhand, just waiting a second, not completely crashing the ball. And it was that little space to let the ball come up that allowed him to swing through it.
It's a really good slider serve. Tiafoe did get a crack on it, but a third chance upcoming. Frances has missed out, Ryan, on his last 5 break points now. That is just bold stuff. Marozsan has fought off 6 straight break points. Deuce now.
Well, I would say the 2 most important things that you are aware of as a player on court are not converting break points and not making first serves. Those are the 2 things that can really stick in your mind if you're not getting it through the court, and Frances is having these mount up a little bit.
He's going to get another look, however. Moment of brilliance to bring up this 4th chance.
Advantage, Tiafoe.
hands, the reaction. It's all happening for Big Foe, who gets the break back to 2-all.
2 games all.
Well, Big Foe in the big moment. Marozsan trying to be smart and go through the court as Tiafoe was taking off that backhand side, but it was the quick turnaround and the flick of the wrist. As you said, such beautiful hands, times it perfectly back on serve.
Thank you.
Just a brutal way to back it up, though.
Love 15.
Those double faults can just be massive momentum shifts.
That they can. You want to try and back up the momentum with some positive energy.
But these second serves just continue to be an issue, and that's why those double faults are going to keep popping up. Yeah, so he's made this return position on seconds a thing now. So he's starting to back up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't love it. I think that his best bet to beat Tiafoe in a long sort of standing success is to try and take it on. You know, we talked about backing up a bit, but that's when the ball's landing near the baseline, not on a second serve return where the ball's landing inside the service box. And at times, the Tiafoe's second serve can drop in speed quite a bit.
Yeah, just all hands there. Hands, wrists, and all spectacular for game points.
40-15.
Marozsan doesn't buy it. I know he's going to want to take a look. We'll get it there, but it caught just enough. Tiafoe, for the first time here in the set, noses out in front at 3-2.
Tiafoe leads 3 games to 2.
Well, this is the Frances Tiafoe experience in a nutshell. Gotten just a bit of all of it here. Some of the peaks, some of the valleys. For the moment, we're in neutral here on serve at 2-3. Don't mind an aggressive miss there.
I want to see it to the big parts of the court.
Sure.
We've started to see that backhand breakdown again. So I want to see big parts of the court through the backhand side.
Forehand winner number 11 for him here on the day. Right around neutral. in terms of the winners to unforced error count, 35 versus 36. Now it is exactly even. Third ace of this set for him.
Marozsan.
What are you going to say, 53 seconds?
3 games old.
These guys are
Went
definitely
longer.
playing pretty quick. A minute 13. He must have gone to the towel one too many times.
It's my bad. Yeah, but again, now this puts the pressure quickly back on Tiafoe.
And Tiafoe only serving 47% for this set, so still struggling a bit.
Oh, come on. And it started with that return position inside the baseline run.
I love that position there, especially on the ad court. If you back up in the ad court particularly, it takes you outside the court even further because this kick serve from Tiafoe is going to move outside the doubles alley, and you are in a hole to start the point.
It does feel, though, that, you know, if we take it in a big picture sense, he's just looking to show different positions to keep Tiafoe off balance on serve.
And I understand that a bit, but I would say as a changeup, not as a constant or a pivotal point moment.
Remains pretty drastic, though, the win percentage for Tiafoe in between first and second serves. 83 on firsts, 43 on seconds. That is a massive gap.
And again, backing up in the ad court. And that's exactly what I was talking about a couple points ago. When you back up in the ad court like that, and then your opponent hits the kick serve, you will see Marozsan well outside the doubles alley to start the point, and that is a really tough position to start a baseline point in.
Game.
Ace shuts it down. 2 very quick holds for 3 in the third.
Tiafoe leads 4 games to 3.
Now the beautiful sights there at the Melbourne Botanical Gardens. Maya Bowl. Great opportunity to go watch some shows from time to time.
Absolutely.
You seem like a big festival guy, Ryan.
I just like to have a good time, and I also like all that green grass. My pup would like all that green grass. He would be in heaven, especially if you know, we had a, let's say, angry customer over here hit him a tennis ball from one of the courts. I don't know if anyone could throw one that far or hit it that far, but he would appreciate it.
My daughter's 10. She really enjoyed coming here last year. Not so much the tennis. She's not a big tennis fan, but the greens. She was all over it.
Well, the Australian Open is a fan experience, not just for the tennis, but
exactly.
Tournament director Craig Tiley has done such a wonderful job of making this a complete fan experience. He continues to up the shade. He continues to up the accessibility.
And more so for the players as well. The prize money continues to go up here, and this crowd continues to file in as we head towards the night session. That prize money increase, especially for the lower ranked players, it has been so incredibly crucial.
I'm going to pretend not to sound bitter when I say that I'm happy about that. I'm so happy for these guys.
Yeah, of course.
It's just wonderful to see that happened as soon as my career came to an end.
You know, you could have been retired on a beach somewhere. And
I never did well enough to say have like Ryan Island or anything, but I might have had like Ryan like paddle boat.
Yeah, something. Instead of a canoe.
Yeah, exactly.
That looks like Fabian Marozsan might be up this stream without a paddle right now. Double fault.
15-14.
Gives Tiafoe 2 chances here. Oh, he's there.
Tiafoe.
Big Foe finding the moment, coming back from a breakdown, secures the second break here in the third set, showing off those wonderful hands at the net, finishing touches. Here he is to serve for a 2-1 lead. The box loves it. Gets right on top of the net.
That's an unbelievably good reflex volley here.
Look at the concentration.
Second time he's done that, Ryan. Grabs a break. Yeah, it's both in this set.
Yeah, I would say that there's got to be something to do with the energy control when you get up to that high and then have to find that composure again.
Again, that back return position just costing Marozsan, and it's flummoxing right now.
I don't mean to be too harsh on this, but you cannot miss that return there. On a second serve return, when a guy's serving for the set and he's already double faulted to start the game, it's just a crime to miss that return.
And listen, we have access to the data. The coaches have access to the data as well in terms of the winning percentage with your return positions. So yeah, he's 2 of 7 when he is backed off on that ad side.
Yeah, and he just steps in again there and gets the point. So, you know, kind of like we've been saying, and to echo that sentiment throughout this third set, you've got to stick to your guns. That's not who he is. He doesn't have one of those heavy shaping balls that you've seen from all the guys like Dominic Thiem and the guys who really hit big, powerful shots from way behind the court. That's just not his identity. So don't try and be someone you're not out there.
That's a choice that he will want back. So Marozsan does get a break chance here.
Well, that's just Big Foe having a couple too many clubs in the bag. At times having that feel, just that extra little thought that enters your mind about a shot that you might try and pull off. And as he continues to develop throughout his career, he'll get a little bit better feel for when to pull those out.
With that said, Ryan, it's one of these situations. He's about to turn 27. You know, you think there's still, this is just who he is, I think.
Yeah, and that's the challenge for David Witt, right?
Right.
It's don't take away the charisma and the capability, but understand how to harness the beast.
Back to back with it to set up a set point.
That was incredible emotional composure to have that letdown on that drop shot mistake from a short ball opportunity and turn around with back-to-back aces. That was really well done.
The defensive work.
How good is that? He sprints to the bench on the dead run. Anticipation at its top form. Frances Tiafoe sensing the moment, his best stuff in the critical time. 2 sets to 1.
And from
And to kind of emphasize your point there, Tiafoe still winning only 43% of second serves for the match. So if you take that 2 from 7 out of there and you look at the way that the conversion percentage is when he's inside the court, it's even higher than that 57%.
I mean, if something is working, why in the heck would you go away from it?
That is exactly right, and it is severe danger zone now. 2 sets to 1 down. Love 30 here to start the 4th set.
Much like Marozsan had one in the last, that's an inexcusable miss for Tiafoe. Especially short, too.
He knows it. You can see that little, grin on his face. He feels like he let one get away.
That said, Tiafoe will grab a couple of chances. This is the first really sizable drop-off here from Marozsan. It's a big one right now.
You got to go no free points here if you're Tiafoe. All these mistakes starting to mount up. You can't let him off the hook.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Absolutely must-have moment there for Marozsan. It was not a bad approach shot at all. He's in an awkward position here, low below the net, so he does what he's supposed to. He gets on that backhand side that's made some mistakes, and sometimes you just got to tip your cap.
Cool. Really well done. Just good composure once again. Surplus 1 gets us to deuce. Frances now 3 of 12 on his break chances here today. Went 2 of 5 in the 3rd.
Well, it is constant pressure, and I love that Big Foe is continuing to ask the question. Despite having 12 break points and only taking 3 of them, it's just been that continuous pressure that's put Marozsan having to answer the door all the way through this first game.
Good leave there from Marozsan, and part of it, Ryan, is just this idea, very simply, of returns in play from Tiafoe. Talked about it a little while ago, that idea that, there's so many free points coming, especially in that second set. Tiafoe was missing half of the returns. Right now, he's made 7 of 8 in this set again to apply that pressure.
And right there being an exact example, Mike, of what you're talking about. A wonderful body serve there into the Frances Tiafoe body, and he finds a way to manage it back in the court. It didn't have to be perfect, and gets in the rally and draws the mistake.
Almost comes up with behind the back.
I thought he was going to do it, Mike. I thought he was going to do it. It looked like it was going to be one of those Sports Center moments, but he just overran it a touch. Well done by Marozsan.
Yeah, a lot of effort from those last few points, and Tiafoe a little bit out of steam at the moment.
Well, he's played a
Advantage,
wonderful game,
Yep.
as you said, now made 10 of 11 returns, and it's a really good game. It's one of those things that regardless of where this goes with this game, you've got to say in the coach's corner, really well
Yep.
done.
Oh, it's going to miss.
Oh,
That is a very friendly net cord for Tiafoe.
well, it sat up a bit, and he just gets the mistake.
Yes.
Deuce number 4 now. He even makes that return.
He is doing
Advantage,
so well
Marozsan.
to put all these returns back in play. And it's just the accumulation of pressure. And what an awkward shot to have to try and pull off there at deuce. He makes it.
Game,
Listen,
Marozsan.
great return game from Tiafoe. Maybe even better from Marozsan just to find that hold there and keep himself out in front early in this 4th set.
Well, it was an absolutely must-have game, especially having that break in hand early stages of the 3rd set, and Tiafoe just mounting that incredible run all the way through the end of the 3rd set. And you just had the feeling that we were moments away from a Tiafoe runaway, but here we are now, and it is a match again.
With this idea, though, Ryan, of Frances having these massive ups and downs, I think for Marozsan, he has to be cognizant of that. I'm sure his team, which is now 2 people instead of just 1, they're aware of it as well and have told him, hey, you just have to stay out in front when you're serving first.
And that's exactly right. You need to get that hold to kind of stop the bleeding after the 3rd set. And it's going to be back on Frances Tiafoe to see if he can find an efficient service game here.
That's efficient.
Well, as we talked about early stages, a couple of those double faults crept in, but now doing well in the category of aces to double faults ratio.
It's a wonderful change of direction.
You can just sense the confidence in Tiafoe right now. He has got complete control. It took him a while. It took him well over an hour and a half to find this composure, but you get the sense that he is dialing it in.
Can he stay there for 45 more minutes?
I believe he will.
I'm gonna just write that down.
Can you do that in pencil, please?
Yeah. 6:41, Ryan Harrison.
Can you,
Yeah, I'm gonna scratch that out
Okay,
for
go
you.
ahead, thank
I'm
you.
just gonna write that. There we go. Yeah, well done. Held that pretty well.
Really well done, and I love the left-hand work on that backhand. The ball actually got below the level of the net, and it's tricky when the ball drops below the level of the net because you can't hit it so flat. He does really well with this inside-out forehand, but the trick here is the left-hand work. You can see him flick the wrist, get the ball up and down, sets up 2 game points.
Two doubles here for Tiafoe.
4-0.
See, this is what we call, I know you're new in the commentary world, a commentator's jinx. You made that talk about the aces to double fault ratio, and that's on you.
Well, Mike, you just said you wanted some drama.
Yeah, I like a little drama.
Game.
Well done.
Tiafoe.
Couple of aces,
New
couple
ball,
doubles.
please.
Well, if you like drama, you're going to love Frances Tiafoe, because he is all about drama, as we see him making his way over to the bench for another change of racket. New balls coming. Both guys like to change rackets with the new balls in. They just fly a little bit more through the air than the old balls, and so they go for the elected tighter tension. The ball has a little bit more control off a tighter tension. So both guys actually changing here.
That bench is a mess. Shoes, shirts, rackets, water, everything's just all over the place. It's going to take him a good 10 minutes to get to the post-match interview if he wins.
You know, maybe he's sending a message. This is my house. I'm going to put stuff where I want to put it.
Throw things all over the place.
Maybe he'll go put something on the net just to make it go his way.
I think that's saved for retirement. I'm pretty sure about that. Oh,
That's well done.
That's too good.
There's not much you can do other than just tip your cap for Frances Tiafoe. What a return and a great pickup. Well, you get the sense this is a bit of a match again, right? Marozsan had that little bit of a letdown to start the fourth set, and he was able to manage his way through the hold, and now he's had a little bit more confidence going.
Yeah, we're gonna maybe just get him a laundry bag, something to compartmentalize, some storage containers.
That can be your Christmas gift to him next year, maybe early birthday gift.
Comfortably held to love. 2-1. We are early in the fourth set.
Marshall leads 2-1.
Sports Precinct here with MCG on the left, the Yarra River cutting right through it. Absolutely stunning vantage point here. Key Arena just behind Rod Laver. Yeah, just absolutely fantastic venue. Starting to get ready for the Aussie who's going to be in action tonight, Destiny Aiva. She'll take on Danielle Collins. So as a result, getting a little bit of green and gold here inside Kia.
Well, the Aussies love to get behind their fellow Australians. They support each other like nowhere else in the world. It is so impressive. Like, that just kind of gave me a thought there. I'm going to take a look at what colors Mr. Marozsan has on. Was he maybe trying to get a little bit of that Aussie love down here in the Aussie summer?
Tommy Paul wore a full-on yellow and green kit against Aussie Chris O'Connell in his opener.
That's a way to get some people behind you. Marozsan even got the racket and the strings committed as well. I mean, talk about committing to the idea.
I don't mind the fact that the companies are kind of tying in some of the clothing choices to the local flavor.
I used to love that whenever you get a kit that felt good.
Game
Hold to
Tiafoe.
love.
It was ironic that you would actually play well in a kit, in an outfit that you felt good in. You would go to the warehouse, wherever you were getting your clothes from your respective sponsor, and if you got a kit that looked really nice, in your back of your mind, you're like, I can't mess this up. I gotta play well with this thing on.
It's interesting you mentioned that Francis, he just had this spread in Vogue that came out last week, and he talked about that at length. How he just wanted to make sure he felt comfortable, so he was playing comfortably.
Ooh, just the speed of Tiafoe forcing the drop shot error.
Seen that a couple of times now.
You have, and what you see here is the way that Tiafoe reads the court. So right off the racket on this slice, you can see him reacting forward, and he's already well inside the court when this drop shot error. You can see him coming into your screen. And what happens is you make that decision that you're going to hit the drop shot, right? And you have the opponent outside the court, but as the ball is traveling to you, you see him closing ground on the location that you're trying to hit the ball to. And when you see that, you try to make it a little finer than you might have initially thought you wanted to, and that's what draws the error. Well, there he is. Again, going after that deep backhand of Marozsan, and Marozsan just not giving ground. He is stuck on that baseline. Win, lose, or draw, he is not moving.
Yeah, tries to hit. He's hitting about 56% of the balls on the rise, well above tour average.
And we saw 31 backhand unforced errors. That is so many from a guy who normally makes very few.
Costly miss there for Tiafoe at 15-30.
Well, I could sense that Tiafoe wanted to go for that deep spot again. He missed it long. You could see that he wanted to target that depth on the return again, but just a little bit too heavy-handed.
So you've had love 30 in that opening Marozsan service game, and now 15-30 here. Both backhand second serve return misses. It feels like it's the same error.
It is. It's like deja vu on the backhand side. And Tiafoe, you've got to make sure that you make him play. We talked about that early stages here in the fourth set, and he did a good job. It was Marozsan who had to answer the door, and he did, but you got to make him play again.
Decent body serve. He hasn't been taking too many first serves through the body.
No, a little bit tricky. Tiafoe was ready to lunge out, and he just got caught up on the body serve. As you can see, 12 of 15 breakpoint save. A lot of chances. Oh, there he is on the dead run. Frances Tiafoe, so good when he has to come up with those passing shots on the run, and is able to, just out of the corner of his eye, you can see here, great return. Marozsan does well to get in, but just keeps one eye on Marozsan and sneaks it up the line.
Sixth look of the set with the second serve.
He is now backing up, changing the court positioning.
That's a great ball from Marozsan.
Was a pretty good slice from Tiafoe, and Marozsan had the answer to the question.
The ability for him to take that ball up the line, change pattern, phenomenally good. Deuce once again. In the process.
Almost a collision. Just wonder how scary that is for the ball person on the court, and they just see this body running at you. Really good disguise there on that drop shot. He held that with two hands until the last possible moment. You know she's going to go later. He touched me.
Game.
It's again a really testy but firm hold there from Fabian Marozsan. Gets it to 3-2. We're midway through this fourth set. As I said, there are going to be some Aussies who are going to stick around and try to pull Destiny Ieva through. You know, it's getting it close to 7 o'clock. Have a couple beverages.
Are you an umbrella hat guy, Mike?
If it's raining.
If it's rain. What about if it's just sunny?
No.
No. You'll just go ahead and commit to the sun.
I don't have a lot going on up here anymore, so.
You know, I like it. It's better than most. Dennis Kudla would disagree with you.
Dennis made some choices in his life. Put it that way. He's done well as a coach already.
He has. What a start for them.
Time.
Interesting to see the tissue brought to Fabian Marozsan. I think it's safe for us to say there's been a cold that's been running around here through the facility.
It has. If you look at the doctor's office down there near the players' lounge, it's had a line out the door. So there's been a couple retirements, also a couple people who have kind of faltered at the end, and the balls that kind of run away in the other side, and a few guys have had that.
Frances Tiafoe. Yeah, definitely has been on the right end of this set, but it doesn't show up on the scoreboard. Serving here 2-3.
15 love.
But this is kind of the impetus for him, right? Fast service games put the pressure right back onto Marozsan.
That's what the top players do. On these near misses, they don't let themselves have a let up, and that's what you want to see Tiafoe maintain throughout this fourth set.
13 love.
Is he trying to break the Marozsan record of fastest game today?
Most importantly, 7 serves so far that have been unreturned out of 11 in this set for Tiafoe. Yeah, that's an angry swing from Marozsan. I mean, there was nothing there in that return game. Second straight hold to love, just over a minute, 3-all.
3 games over.
So again, Marozsan has faced break chances in 2 of his 3 service games here in the set. Clean, powerful, effective, and once again a deficit situation for Fabian Marozsan.
Well, he is just continuing to put the pressure on.
Ryan, this is an odd situation. Fabian Marozsan, A, angry, B, racing through these points. I mean, he's rushing his swings.
Well, I haven't seen him lose his composure like this very often. It's not often. As you can see, the first serve percentage for Tiafoe at almost 80%. That's a much big improvement from the first 3 sets, and winning 100% of points behind it.
Third time in this set where he's missed a key second serve return, and they've all been into that backhand wing.
And that's kind of starting to play on his mind a bit. You can see the reaction. He's definitely aware of it.
flummoxed here. This is a very different Fabian Marozsan here, these two games.
Well, I think you're kind of getting a little microcosm of why he has had a couple of those letdown moments after some of these big wins. It's not been on the big stages against top players. Oh, near miss. I thought he had that lined up.
I think that ball has to be in play. I think with Marozsan rushing through these swings, he has to get that ball in play.
Absolutely.
0 for 7 on the break chances in the set, Tiafoe. And now 0 for 8. These crowds just continuing to pile in here at Kia Arena. Yeah, he's going after much bigger on the second ball right now, Ryan.
Well, you got to applaud the resilience of Marozsan, just continuing to fight off these break point opportunities. As you noted, 8 break points against in this set, and he's managed to fight off every single one of them.
Perfect combination.
There he is. He doesn't want to let this break go. He's staying tough. Great backhand return here. It was the depth of the ball that gets the short response, and a little flick of the wrist works the angle off the court.
Absolutely. Again, this is very brave and much bigger from Marozsan early in these points. I didn't have it in my head that he was going to be the one trying to shorten these points, Ryan.
Well, after so many backhand mistakes, as we've talked about throughout this match, to just stick to the guns there, really well done.
So I'm going to just read into it. Asking for tissues during that last changeover. I'm wondering if maybe he's struggling with a little bit of a cold and maybe trying to rush here without as much oxygen as he had earlier in this match.
Either that or just feeling a little bit emotional.
Sure.
Probably the one that you said.
Probably. Yeah, that's not even close to the court, and he's left shaking his head. Tiafoe, this is break point number 9 of the set.
Well, you can just feel the energy. The crowd is ready to erupt behind Tiafoe. He's got all the crowd behind him, all the pressure on Marozsan yet again. What a response. You can see Tiafoe just trying to stay with it, but some of that frustration becoming visible.
Goodness me.
Just when it feels like he's going to break, he comes up with his best stuff. This is a beautiful forehand deep in the middle of the court, and Marozsan giving a little ground.
But it is hit or miss. It's all or nothing on the second ball right now for Marozsan.
I mean, he is go big or go home. Approaching
deuce.
6 minutes in this game.
This is the longest game on the day.
Tiafoe stretches back a little bit there.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too.
It looked a little bit concerning with the grimace.
gives up that short ball off that deflected backhand, and we go back to deuce number 6.
That is so good to just hang in there after having so many break point opportunities squandered, but not letting Marozsan off the hook easily. Well, we've talked about his first round match where he was 2 sets to love up, and he finds himself 2 sets to 1 up, and now 0 for 9 on break points here in the 4th set. And you just wonder, is that sort of not finishing it out starting to play in his mind?
Ay. 5th double of the day, deuce number 7.
That is a breath of fresh air for Tiafoe, for any guy who's maybe getting a little bit negative, and to have a guy kind of just donate one. No way! He tries a trick shot there. What are you thinking? Why would you try that in that moment there at deuce? Tiafoe so good on the dead run here, single-handedly flicks it down low and then closes this off with the forehand put away. After the second serve there and then that move, what are you doing?
Got him right where he wanted. Break point down. 3 of 20 today. 20 break chances created, converting 3.
Mike, I've got no words.
Advantage, Marozsan.
Unpredictable is an understatement.
It's supposed to be for the other guy. Well, really odd game, and Fabian Marozsan thrusts his racket into the air, keeps fighting off these break chances, leads 4-3.
Marozsan leads 4 games to 3.
A 9-minute 7th game of this 4th set. Mike Cain, Ryan Harrison joining you here inside Kia Arena. We're also looking at average rally length right now under 3. Ryan, this is just, there's not a lot of depth. There's not a lot of shot making as a result. But I just can't figure out what Marozsan was doing in that last game, and yet he finds a hold once again.
Well, this reminds me of watching the 12th round of Rocky 1. Just no defense, just all offense, blow for blow. Guys just completely sticking to their guns.
Marozsan is a big fan of the action films. Loves his Jason Statham, The Rock.
Okay, those are a couple good guys with some good action movies. So well done by Frances Tiafoe.
12 straight points on serve for Frances Tiafoe. There's nobody better in the business, Ryan, than yours truly at the commentator's curse. That's how we play it.
I never doubted you. That's a great response there. I love the way that Frances is continuing to stay efficient on his service games, despite the fact that he's squandered 10 break points over 3 different return games. He has continued to stay efficient on his service games, and I can't tell you how impressive that is. A lot of times it's easy to have that letdown game, and he has continued to stay focused.
Yeah, perfect 15 for 15 on the first serves here into this set. Has only lost 3 points on serve.
Wait, please, for service.
Ball was dropped on the court. It's Frances asking for another first serve to come. Such a good defensive lob from Marozsan to reset the point there, get it to 30 love.
Well, he did what you want to do. He got the lob up over the backhand side, and that's a lot trickier when the lob goes up. If you lob someone over their forehand side, a lot of times they're able to find a way to get that smash on it, but the backhand side, it puts you in an indecisive position. And you just wonder, after all of these missed opportunities as we get to the thick of this 4th set, is that going to be playing on the Tiafoe mind as he looks to try and finish this thing off before we go to a decider?
Yeah, and further, the fact that he's going to be the one with that scoreboard pressure going against him as Marozsan finds his second hole to love here into this set to 5-4.
Now it's, excuse me, Mike, it's Frances Tiafoe to have to serve to stay in this 4th set. So many chances to try and secure the break, and he's not been able to convert. You just have to wonder, that first serve percentage that we've been talking about, he's done so well in the 4th set here, up to 80%, 15 for 15 of first serve points won has been the tail of the 4th set for Tiafoe.
Serves now at 4-5. First deficit he's faced here in the set at love 15 after an absolutely electric backhand line winner.
Well, Tiafoe expecting the cross court, change of direction being the one that delivers the blow.
Hence that streak of a perfect first serve set, 15 of 16 now.
Is he going to step back in? Well, he does back up, and it's Tiafoe blinks. And we just saw that last return game. He let off the gas a bit and kind of walked through the end there. And you wonder if that back that he was grimacing at a little bit a while ago is starting to play in his mind. I saw the trainer come down courtside a couple games ago, and I wonder if he's pondering a call.
And I find myself wondering if that was for Marozsan, if just maybe some medication, something along those lines for what looks like might be a little bit of a cold.
Well, it's the variety that draws the mistake. Marozsan sensing that that was a big missed opportunity.
38th error on the backhand wing today. My word. Might be onto something, Ryan. The movement is not sharp right now from Frances Tiafoe, who's down 2 set points.
Yeah, and he walks very gingerly over the towel. You can see that he's trying not to show a lot. You don't want to show your opponent a reason to have hope, especially as you're trying to close this thing out in 4th set. But I wonder if this happens to go the way of Marozsan, if that will then become something that becomes a obvious factor in the final set.
Thank you.
But he answers the door. What a serve down, double set point, faces one more. Does he have one more bullet in the chamber here to erase this 2nd set point?
Just 122 on that 2nd serve from Tiafoe. Nothing on it, and yet he survives.
Well, it was right there on the racket for Marozsan, and he just backed off, and you haven't seen him back off too much today. That was a remarkable return.
Just incredibly good.
On the full stretch, and the key here was how deep he got in the court. Despite being out of position and not having the control to go out there and rip it, he finds the depth and also finds a 3rd set point. We are going the distance on Cain Arena. Another 5-set battle awaits for Frances Tiafoe, but it is the Hungarian with the momentum building through, saving 10 break points. We are going 5.
Meanwhile, Tiafoe 3-0 and 5-setters here in Melbourne. 8-14 overall. Marozsan serves to start it. Yep.
That's clever. Drawing him in and then recognizing when all was needed was just a mediocre lob. So we see the view there from the overhead cam.
If you'd have told me that Marozsan was showing this level about 20, 30 minutes ago, I would have said no chance. That 3-all service game, Ryan, where he looked like he did not care win or lose.
Especially when he had that 2nd serve where he went after it as a 1st serve and hit the in between the leg shot. that's been the story for Frances Tiafoe, right? We know what he can produce when he has his best stuff. We know he has that Grand Slam winning capacity. He's pushed Carlos Alcaraz to 5 sets on the biggest stages in the latest rounds of the majors. He's found himself in those positions time and time again. But as these opportunities
what a pickup from the shoestrings. And this is a completely different Fabian Marozsan again.
And the energy is just oozing out of him now. Full stretch.
Yeah, throwaway point there from Tiafoe, and Marozsan takes advantage. 1-love and a ball change here as well. Also, Ryan, I think the fact that Marozsan has 17 more net approaches than his opponent today shocks me because of Frances's quality at the net.
Absolutely, and Frances has done well when he has come to the net. He's winning 70% of points at the net compared to the just 63% for Marozsan, but it's been Marozsan who's been willing to take it on. As you said, those break point opportunities there where he had those second serve returns and those love 30 points, and he just backed off a little bit. And for the large in part, it's been Marozsan who's been willing to stick to his guns even when he was facing up against those break point chances.
These types of matches are what you get when you have one player who fluctuates up and down, another one who is so steady with the level.
Well,
and it's not entertaining for everyone. Some people you just need a nap. I might be one of them.
Well, it's a long day out here, but fortunately the cooler temperature starting to settle in, so you know, you sometimes get a little nap in.
Frances Tiafoe trying to decide which racket to grab out of the bag here. A newly strung one. Pretty quick here to get through 5 sets, as you can see that. Yeah, again, that messy bench for Frances Tiafoe. Rackets, shirts, shoes, towels, water bottles. Regardless, love one.
You know, if we put the coach's hat on and we look at what both guys are thinking, if you're Fabian Marozsan, you can't give away free points right now. You want to make Frances have to earn everything in the early stages of the 5th set.
Yep.
Yep. And for Tiafoe, it's all about energy. So shots like that, get the crowd back involved. Get your team back involved. Get your energy level back up. Even if you don't feel it, you have to understand the magnitude of the moment. You can't get behind here in the early stages of the 5th set and let Marozsan front run.
That is a smoke show. Absolute smoke show. Let me say to that point, though, Ryan, the crowd involvement, Frances is always really good with that when he is playing against a higher ranked opponent. When he is the favorite, when he's supposed to win, he doesn't do as good of a job of engaging.
Well, that takes me back, Mike, to that kind of infamous quote from last year about losing to these clowns, right?
Correct.
And it's almost like he doesn't necessarily believe that he needs to get all of that energy in unless he's playing against one of those top players. But, you know, if you don't respect everybody, you can find yourself in these dangerous situations.
Just nothing on that forehand from Tiafoe. Break chance, Marozsan.
4 from 12 for the match. Much better conversion percentage than the American.
First of this set, break point saved for a 13 now.
Not only the first ace of this set, also the first serve of this set. That's incredible stuff. Absolutely incredible stuff. From outside of the position on both sides of the court, he's able to put that ball in awkward spots and draw the mistake from Frances Tiafoe. This is the dead run here. Flicks the wrist, gets this ball well off the court, off the side of the line, just skips through a bit.
And he had lost his dampener early in that point as well.
Does he take this one on, Mike?
Yeah, he should.
Well, he did, and he had the chance right there on his racket and just barely misses the mistake long.
That was an extraordinarily slow second serve as well. Frances averaging 149 kilos. That one was 122. And yet Marozsan can't take advantage. Deuce once again. Caught the line.
Oh my! It drops in. Are you kidding me? Frances cannot believe it. He thought that was out the whole way. Just the back edge on the corner and the sideline.
Second return winner of the game, 6th of the day. Another break chance for the Hungarian.
He's done it. He takes it on. He gets the break in the 5th set. Complete control.
Madison leads 2 games to love.
What a shot. It was this forehand inside out that sets up the ball to go inside in for the winner.
Second time here on the day where Marozsan has grabbed an early break. Was not able to front run in the 3rd set. Serves here to love. 4 games in a row as well, Ryan. Stunning stuff from Marozsan.
Well, the last thing you want to do is give away free points right now. You've firmly taken control. You can sense the other side of the net, that letdown.
Especially as we talked about earlier in the day as well, the fact that Tiafoe struggles below tour average on that break back percentage. You can't give away anything free there.
Well, he doesn't have a whole lot of room to work with for the rest of this one.
These guys stoic as well. Coach for Marozsan.
Game, Madison.
4 unreturnables so far in the set for Marozsan, with the break sandwiched in the middle. 3-love, what a turnaround. The water ball's flying here
Madison
by
leads
Frances
3
Tiafoe,
games
throws
to
them
love.
out onto the court, down 3-love.
For the direction sportsman conduct, warning Mr. Tiafoe.
Frances Tiafoe getting a warning for unsportsmanlike conduct for knocking those water bottles onto the court. The frustration of missing out on those 10 break chances in the fourth, finally bubbling over. Crowd, ironically, as a result, finally getting engaged here behind Tiafoe. Those water drum bottles, not cheap, Ryan. Tiafoe here at love 3.
15 love.
Well, as you said, that fourth set was about so many chances for Frances Tiafoe. It just seems like he was knocking on the door, and it was Marozsan who had the resilience, and then firmly in control here, early stages, fifth set, break in hand.
The emotional control at this stage is going to be incredibly important for Frances, right? This is where that instability with that, he can find that high point. It's just a matter of will he?
Well, he wants to secure that insurance break. You can see the Tiafoe camp trying to urge him along, trying to understand that this is a pivotal moment. You cannot go 2 breaks down here in the final set.
Let's for service.
Got that one too.
Are you kidding me right now? Best return of the match. Sets up break point here. Fully stretched out. Wasn't a bad serve at all. And just takes an absolute cut.
7th return winner of the day. 3 of them have come here in the decider. Again, Ryan, on that second serve, gets that point at neutral or on his terms, and the forehand sails on it.
Well, I thought that Marozsan was going to go and take a crack at it again. It just seemed like maybe the changeup of being a bit slower got him a little bit more out in front than he was hoping to be.
Definitely one to circle there. The forehand miss at 30-40 to deuce.
That is superb stuff. Just relentless pressure from Marozsan, and it is the depth that is so key on that ball. Just a couple inches in front of the baseline, setting up break point number 2 to secure the insurance break.
Oh, he's got that backhand line winner, starting with another fabulous return. Marozsan, 2 breaks to the good, 6 games on the trot, and just a couple of games away from the 3rd round.
Well, how quickly things can turn around in this sport. Only a few minutes ago, it seemed like Frances Tiafoe was knocking on the door of the 3rd round. But the resilience, the grit, the fight of the Hungarian.
Ready for play. 15 love.
The ace to boot.
He is serving 82% first serves in this final set.
Continues to pick up steam. This crowd clearly has been behind Frances Tiafoe, but that Hungarian fan base, they're really finally getting a little bit louder.
There's just absolutely no let up. And we've talked about this the whole match. Marozsan just has a sense for how to close out these big matches. He has got so many big wins to his name already in his young career. And here he is trying to book his second year in a row in the 3rd round of the Australian Open.
Absolute redlining stuff right now from Fabian Marozsan. 5 love in the 5th.
Marozsan leads 1 games to love.
This is really an incredible performance, and I go back to it. You and I were just looking at each other off mic when he was at 3-all, just slapping things around. Devil may care. And this performance in the 5th is masterful.
Well, it's been an incredible turnaround, and just that resilience. You know, there was a couple times where you could sense that mental toughness was starting to falter a bit. He just took a little bit more time at the critical moments, composed himself, and now he finds himself 1 game away from the 3rd round.
The heartbreak right now for Frances Tiafoe. All those opportunities running through his brain at this moment.
Time.
Well, now it's up to Fabian Marozsan just to find his way through to the finish. He's done all the hard work, giving himself a little cushion as well. Can he find another break to grab a bagel in this decider? Tiafoe serving to stay in it at love 5.
He can't miss. Whatever side he picks, whatever he tries, he is just seeing it as big as a watermelon right now. He is hitting that ball so big, so strong, he cannot miss.
He can miss.
Well,
It wasn't human.
Certainly wasn't an easy mistake. He, again, putting the pressure on. Tiafoe first serve percentage down at 50% in this final set.
Yeah, you can just sense it, right? You see it in the shoulders of Frances. As he gets on the scoreboard, you and I both know, Ryan, he was so excited about the start of this season and just what it could lead to getting back to that top 10 level. Runs into Pesci Pericard last week. That's understandable. This one is going to be gutting for Frances Tiafoe.
Yeah, if he's not able to turn this back around, he will look at this as a massive missed opportunity. Should have had that thing closed out in 4 sets. The first set wasn't the highest quality, but he still found a way to win it.
But in this 5th set, it's all about Fabian Marozsan. The experience, as you pointed out, the win over Carlos Alcaraz back in 2023. Last week, a win over Andrei Rublev. Yeah, just good footwork once again. It just feels like it's a different energy than 45 minutes ago.
Well, even throughout this match, just the confidence has continued to grow. As we talked about, he had so many backhand unforced errors, and now in this 5th set, he has just been doing absolute damage with the backhand side.
He'll have 3 looks at it.
Thank you.
Big match. Marozsan comes through and picks up his first top 20 win at a slam in an incredibly dominant 5th set. 6-1 in the 5th over Frances Tiafoe.
Well, that's going to be a hard one for Tiafoe to shake off. It's going to take him a little while to get over that one. So many opportunities in the 4th set, but it is Marozsan who is the man of the hour. Again, fighting his way through a 5th set into the 3rd round here in Melbourne for the 2nd straight year.
0 for 10 is the one that's going to stick with us. 3 of 20 overall on those break chances for Frances Tiafoe. Marozsan, all the credit in the world, right? The ability to fight off those break chances, even win in that 3 all-service game. It looked like he just didn't have anything left in the tank, and just finds that way to come up with some big first serves, and then this 5th set, just completely running away with it.
Well, he had to battle a bit of everything, right? He had a little bit of the sickness going on with the tissues out there. You could see he had a little bit of a runny nose going. It wasn't his best tennis there to start the first set, and he still got a set down, even with so many opportunities in the first set. And then the fourth set was all about mental toughness, right? He had so many chances he could have given in, and he was close. He had a couple moments there where it looked to you and I like he was going to be down and out. The American will be having a lot to think about there. That fourth set, a lot of chances to close this thing out. Fifth set was one-way traffic.
Yeah, and I keep going back to it. I mean, this is Frances Tiafoe, right? Just these incredible highs that just keep you buying in, and then these types of lows were just a wasted opportunity here in the fourth and into the fifth.
Well, he's must-watch. Incredible talent, but some of these lulls, as you mentioned, just too much to overcome today.
Yeah, really going to be a challenging one to start the season. He'll obviously have plenty of opportunity in the States here over the next couple of weeks, heading towards, of course, Indian Wells and Miami. But the focus today is on Fabian Marozsan, winner here and into the third round for the second straight year in Melbourne.
Easy. That's how you described it. That wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy. It was a great match. It's not an easy day. A little bit windy, a little bit tough. And of course, he's a great player, so it's never easy to beat him. So I'm very glad to playing here on this stage. And thank you guys to supporting to us.
That final set. What was going through your mind? You looked a man on a mission, kept him to just 13 points, Fabian. That was a masterclass.
Yeah, I think the fifth set is never easy. I mean, it was totally physically. And yeah, both of us played 5 sets in the first round, so I know it's not easy, but today I had a great day, and I used my chances.
Take me back to the 7th game of that 4th set. You're serving. He has 4 breakpoint opportunities. You save each and every one of them. It felt like a turning point in the match for you to take control.
Yes, exactly. Let's say that was the match point for him, and he didn't use it. So yeah, I'm really happy to come back and win this match.
Third round for the second time at the Australian Open. We love what we saw today. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Please thank Fabian
Exactly
Marozsan
right in
of
talking
Hungary.
about that 7th game and how crucial it was in that 4th set.